All right, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Plug with my boy Ishmael. We are, of course, recapping NFL Week 11. If you are a first-time watcher or, of course, a recurring watcher, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on Twitter, make sure you watch it on there as well at my Twitter handle, X_Williams81. And if you are on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. Like I said before, we are recapping Week 11. We're gonna go by this recap a little bit quicker today for Week 11 because we want to get into Turkey Bowl on Thursday and also the AFC and NFC playoff standings at the moment. We're gonna go straight into Thursday Night Football with the Cardinals and Seahawks. Unfortunately, we did not get a DK Metcalf viral moment in this game, but this game pretty much went the way I expected this to go as well with the Chiefs and the Raiders, we'll talk about a little bit later on. When it comes to a team like the Seahawks with Russell Wilson, I was not expecting them to get swept by the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Not expecting them to get swept. I actually thought the Cardinals were going to win this game. But, the Seahawks pulled it off. Either way, I felt like it could go either way. But I just thought the Cardinals really had a little bit more going into the game. But, yeah, the Seahawks won the game, and it definitely changes the standings in the NFC West. So we'll have to wait and see how that division finishes up.
Yes, sir. And just like you said with the standings in the NFC West, at the moment, the Rams are number 1, Seahawks are 2, Cardinals are at 3, and the 49ers are, of course, the last seed. But even with those, like I said last week, if the 49ers did not have all those injuries, they could be right there in the mix as well. I mean, even with all those injuries, having 4 wins on the season, I mean, they look better than the Cowboys at the moment, so which is very sad to say for the Cowboys. So, all right, go ahead and move on with the next game: the Bengals versus the Washington Football Team. This is one of those dumpster games we like to call throughout the week. But the big news in this game is the unfortunate injury to Joe Burrow, number 1 pick in the draft. He had tore his ACL, MCL, and a couple of other pieces in his knee that is going to have to get cleaned out. With the modern technology that we have nowadays, in 2020 compared to, let's just go with 2010, just 10 years ago, we expect him to get back on the field. We just saw Alex Smith have to go through what he just had to go through, right? We expect Joe Burrow to come back and get back to where he's supposed to be, but it's going to take maybe a good year and a half.
Yeah, definitely prayers to Joe Burrow and his family. The Bengals, this really sucks for them because he had been playing really well, and you wanted him to just keep getting that experience this year so that next year, you guys can come out and maybe make a little bit of noise. But like you said, it could be a year and a half. I mean, another thing is once he comes back, what is he going to be like on that knee, right? Like, is he going to favor that knee? Is it going to take him a little time mentally to get past that injury? We're going to have to wait and see. But that's the big news coming out of this game. Nobody cares that Washington won this game because both teams really aren't doing anything. But the big news is Joe Burrow and what the outlook looks like for Cincinnati moving forward.
No, I definitely agree. And unfortunately, it's kind of like that Cincinnati curse right now, quarterback position-wise. Carson Palmer, pretty much had that same type of injury to him. Now Joey Burrow, and with it being on his left leg, not his plant leg, with his right leg, I agree with you tremendously when it comes to getting over the mental hurdle of being able to stay back in that pocket once he comes back. With it not being his plant leg, I hope he's able to get over that mental hurdle a lot quicker than if it was on his plant leg. So it'd be very interesting to see. Of course, anybody that was a Ohio State alumni sent their praise and speedy recovery out to Joe Burrow. Of course, the guys that were on the field with Chase Young and Terry McLaurin, and also LeBron James. Even though he didn't attend Ohio State, he is an Ohio State alum at heart. So again, prayers out to Joe Burrow. Hopefully he gets better a lot sooner. All right. NFC South matchup, the Falcons versus the Saints. Before I get my spill into it, Ish, you want to take a couple of minutes to talk about this?
Really, I just want to hear from you because you were one of the people that were pretty upset that they named Taysom Hill the starter over Jameis Winston. So I really want to hear what you got to say because Taysom Hill actually performed better than I thought he was going to perform. For a long time, I have not thought that he is a true quarterback. He's a gadget kind of guy to me. But he did come out. He played really well. Now, again, it's against the Falcons, so we'll have to wait and see. But he did all right to win this game. So,
no, I 100% agree with you. I'll say this. I wasn't mad that Taysom got the starting spot. I was more confused because if you bring in a guy like Jameis Winston, number 1 pick overall, Heisman Trophy winner, national championship winner, again, was any other quarterback with the prestige and resume like a Jameis Winston has going to a new team, you would think that he would get the starting spot over Taysom. Just like last year with Teddy Bridgewater, he was the one that rode that pretty much drove the ship for the next 5 games until Drew Brees got back and was able to go 5-0 at that time. I think Taysom, just like you said, is a gadget guy. But at the end of the day, he is a football player. Watching him play reminds me of being able to go play out in the backyard during Turkey Bowl day and being able to play any position you want, not worrying about what the coaches have to say, not worrying about what the refs have to say, whatever it is. You're just going out and going to play football. That's what I see with Taysom Hill. I think he's a great guy on and off the field. I don't have no problems with him. My problem is at the end of the day is a guy like Taysom Hill, if you look at his college resume, when it comes to have not been able to complete a full season due to injury. Every year he was at BYU, he got hurt and he was not able to finish the season. I'm not talking about no turf toe or broken finger, plantar fasciitis. He had a injury where he dislocated his elbow and the muscle tore off of his bone. I'm talking about real injuries to where I second guess can you stop running around like RG3 because you might end up like RG3? That was my concern.
Okay.
Seeing him play against the Falcons, it didn't surprise me what he was able to do. He managed the game. He didn't mess it up until the end of the game where he did have a turnover, but luckily it didn't pretty much change the game in the Falcons' favor to win. So right now, and I'm about to look this up right quick. Right now, the Saints, again, look really good playing against the Falcons, and they have a favorable schedule I'm about to bring up in a second, leading into the playoffs. So I'll be honest with you. I think this year is a lot easier for the Saints to ride this ship than it was last year. And depending on how Drew Brees with these 11 ribs, we just have to wait and see. So next game, they have the Broncos. The week after that, they have the Falcons again. You have the Eagles week 14. Week 15, you have the Chiefs. Week 16, you have the Vikings. So, again, I feel like they can ride this ship. Most likely, they might lose to the Chiefs. We'll see what happens with the Broncos next. I think next week, that Broncos game, and of course, we'll be here next week to recap it. That's going to be a very interesting game. The Broncos, defense-wise, has been on point all season. The offense, it comes and goes, but the defense, we're going to see real quickly, can Taysom Hill can he minimize the mistakes? Pretty much. That's
quick question for you. Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
We don't really got to go into it.
Yes,
but
sir.
what do you think this says about Jameis Winston? Because if I'm a team looking at the Saints and the Saints chose to go with Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston, and last year, like you said, Teddy Bridgewater stepped in, went undefeated, so you gave the reins to Teddy Bridgewater instead of Taysom Hill. What does this say about Jameis Winston and his future? Because he signed that 1-year deal with the Saints, hoping to get this opportunity like Teddy Bridgewater did, and the opportunity has come, and they passed him up to go with Taysom Hill. So if I'm a team looking at this, I don't know.
No, that's a great question because I actually talked to Adrian Lunsford about this a couple of days ago when it comes to talking about Jameis, and he brought up a great point. Some quarterbacks are just meant to be backups, and that's okay. Everybody can't be a starter because sometimes when those lights are bright, some guys just. I'll give you a great example: Kirk Cousins. Why do we keep trying to make this guy into something that he's not? He's not Captain America. He's Captain Kirk from Star Trek, okay?
Some people think he is.
Sit his ass down in the chair somewhere and beam me up, Scotty, whenever it's time to come in for the fourth quarter garbage time. That's when I need to bring Kirk Cousins in. But same with Jameis. If you look at the Florida State makeup of that team, Kelvin Benjamin, Jimbo Fisher, you had a lot of good guys around that Florida State team. And then even with the Bucks, again, you had some good pieces, but like a lot of people would say, if you just cut half of those interceptions from 30 to 15, that Buccaneers team might look a little bit different. So, we just have to wait and see how the landscape of NFL looks next year, because I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's a backup somewhere.
Okay.
So, we'll see. All right, Steelers and Jaguars. This game pretty much went the way that it probably should have went on paper. The question that they have on ESPN right now is asking, what's going to happen first? The Steelers lose a game or the Jets win a game? I'll ask you that.
That's a tough one, because the Jets, I got to look at what their remaining schedule is before I just, knock them out. Although it really doesn't matter, I think, because they're just that bad. But I don't want to completely disrespect them.
You want me to bring up the Jets schedule for you right quick?
I'm pulling it up right now. All right, so they got the Dolphins, the Raiders, they've got Seahawks, Rams, Browns, and the Patriots.
Yeah, they're looking real 0-16-ish.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Steelers gonna lose before they win the game, because it doesn't look like they'll win a game this year. They may luck up and get one, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, and the one, to be completely honest, if I don't see them beating the Dolphins, they might luck up and beat the Browns, and I honestly doubt that.
That's the only team.
No. It's week 17. It's the Patriots. I really think. I'm serious. I think that they could probably look. It's a divisional game, last week of the season. Patriots ain't going to the playoffs. Again, I could see that being one of those lucky little wins that they pull off by 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, one of those gotchas.
Yeah, exactly. So all
right.
I don't think that. I think the Jets go 0-16, but I think the Steelers will lose a game first before the Jets win one. And I was going to say, with that being this upcoming Thursday, and again, we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. But other than that, is there anything you want to say about this game?
No.
Alrighty then, neither do I. All right, Titans versus Ravens, or would you like to say the Oilers? And I would like to get into this game because, as you can see, Ish has a very big smile on his face because he picked the Tennessee Oilers to win this game. I did not, because I'm realistic, and seeing the scouting report. You can make that face all you want to. Seeing the scouting report and seeing how all the people that we had on both sides of the ball missing, I was very skeptical going into this game. Because again, if you have 5 starters on defense missing, one of the starters haven't played in all season, all 11 weeks. You have 3 of our 5 offensive linemen out for the season. Out for this game. It's very hard for me to have faith in this team going into this game because we let up on a opportunity the week prior to against the Colts. So that's why coming into this game, the Titans are not. I watched this team for 20-some years. Y'all are not going to do this to me, okay? Y'all not about to get my hopes up high. Y'all not going to do this. And then coming to the Colts next week and lose. We're not going to do this. So I'm neutral right now. I don't care that we. I would rather us lose. I would rather us lose this week so we can come back and play the Colts and beat the Colts. That's what I would rather us do.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Like my man said, I did pick the Oilers to win because I knew what was going to happen. Lamar Jackson, for some reason, just can't get past them. It don't matter how many injuries they had, what it had to do with. Mike Vrabel, for some reason, always gets this team up to play against the Ravens. And they did that. They came through. They won this game. It is a big game. As much as you downplaying it, it's a big game for playoffs because last week the Oilers were not in the playoffs. This week they are in the playoffs because they beat the Ravens. And a tiebreaker moving forward, if they do happen to lose to the Colts coming up this week, this will be a big game that we'll look back on and we'll say, this is the reason why they made it into the playoffs, because they beat the Ravens. So for the Ravens, if you're a Raven fan, this is not a good time for you because you're on the outside looking in. It's only going to continue to get rough. You got the Steelers coming up on Thursday. You not going to beat the Steelers. So, I mean, y'all really need Lamar Jackson to do something. He's got to turn it around. Not that he's playing poorly, but he's got to take over. MVP Lamar Jackson need to come out.
Yeah, and at the moment, the Ravens in that division has slipped down to number 3 behind the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, last week, the Ravens were in the playoffs. Now the Browns have jumped them, and they are technically in the playoffs in the AFC at the moment. We all know 6 more weeks of football, so all that would change. Mm-hmm. But like you said with the Ravens, and I'm about to bring up their schedule as well moving forward, because I'm a little worried about the Ravens, because when you shut down that running game,
that's it.
You know, it's kind of hard to really have faith in the Ravens because, like we said since day one about having Lamar Jackson, great athlete, just not a legit quarterback in the pocket. That is what we are scared and worried about. They have the Steelers in week 12, Cowboys week 13, the Browns week 14, Jacksonville week 15, the Giants week 16, and the Bengals week 17.
So it's not that rough. It's
not at all. Once you get past that Thursday night game, to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they could string off 4-1. They can go 4-1, 5-0. They really could.
I think the game that's going to be important is Week 14 against the Browns.
It's the Browns. Yes, sir. I agree.
But outside of that, I expect you to beat the Cowboys, the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Bengals. So that Browns game is going to be it.
I definitely agree. And to be honest, let's be real. It's not important just for the Ravens. It's important for the Browns as well. Because we keep on trying to throw them to the wayside and say that they are not legit and they not real, and they keep on showing us that they are the ugliest 7-3 team at the moment.
I'm getting there.
I believe, of course, in the Titans a little bit more than the Browns, but I will say if losing Odell hurts. If they would have been able to keep Odell, I would look at them a little bit differently, just because you have an extra weapon. That's all. Just because you have an extra weapon, but I'm worried about them because if you can double Landry and you can shut down the run, can Baker win you the game? That's the question I think the Browns are going to have to figure out moving forward.
Okay.
That's all. All right, Patriots versus Texans. Of course, old coordinator against his former team with Romeo Crennel, playing against or coaching against his former disciple with Bill Belichick. I expected the Patriots to come in and run the ball and do it against the worst rushing team in the NFL. Rushing defense, in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the Texans, see what happens when you open up that roof from time to time? It's just like when you go down, when you're in Houston, you're riding down with the top down, you're feeling good, you got the sun beaming on you, you're playing these old school 90s Houston jams, and that's what happened with the Texans. They put the top down, they playing some swing and bang, you feel me? They was out here doing the thug thizzle. Great game by Deshaun Watson and the rest of the crew. But let's just be real. I mean, that's just it's one game. It's good. But Texas ain't really going anywhere. But it just shows how great Deshaun Watson is.
And that's all I was getting to. It shows how great Deshaun Watson is. I mean, to be doing what he's doing this season with such a poor team. I mean, this guy has come in and just had a career year that nobody's talking about because the team is that bad. But he is having a career year and, I mean, doing his thing. And it just makes you scratch your head at the Texans organization, just sit there and think like, bro, when Dabo Swinney came out and said this is going to be the
Michael Jordan of football.
Michael Jordan of football, right? I mean, when Deshaun Watson is having this kind of year with this poor of a team, you got to kind of wonder to yourself, had he gone to a better organization, could we be looking at somebody that we would be talking about a lot, like up there as one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now? I mean, I don't know, but I think you have to wonder because really he's not getting the spotlight that he should get because of this organization. And I think it is an indictment on this organization, how poor they are, how horrible they have always been, and how they will continue to be mediocre until Cal McNair decides to do something about it.
I 1,000% agree, Ish. You will not get an argument from me. let's just be real. We lived in Houston. We lived in Houston for a long time, and we know how Houstonians are when it comes to their sports. They love it, no matter if they own 16 or 16-0. And that's the benefit that Cal Manere has when it comes to. There's no point in me selling if I'm going to be able to make a profit, and you guys go 8-8. Win a AFC South title. It's a win for me. But when you have, like we just talked about, this is not a good quarterback. It's a generational quarterback. That's what Dabo Swinney's talking about. Michael Jordan of football. And you're not letting him be like a Patrick Mahomes. You're not letting him be like an Aaron Rodgers. You're not letting him be like a Russell Wilson. It's what we talked about since day one. You're literally watching this guy's career go to waste with an organization like this. And I am happy for Deshaun that he signed that 4-year deal, because once he gets done, he can get up out of here, and nobody in Houston is going to be mad at him or have a problem with him wanting to seek other places to go play, because he's done he did everything he needed to do for this city, for this community, and I hope wherever he goes next, he wins multiple Super Bowls.
I 100% agree.
Yes, sir. All right, Eagles and Browns. Now, before we get into this game, I just want to give a quick to the Eagles and their organization, because Carson Wentz needs to sit his ass down somewhere.
Please.
Like, please go sit your ass down somewhere, because the only people that believe now, you know what? You just brought up Deshaun Watson, right? If Deshaun Watson was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, how would the Philadelphia Eagles look right now?
Man, way better. Wow. They would have run away with this division, been gone.
Now I got a question. What about all the injuries? What about, this person hurt, this person don't catch the ball, or this or that? I hear a lot of that from Eagle fans saying, "Oh, well, we can't do that." Y'all playing in the worst division. Y'all can't even win the division right now.
Y'all can't even beat people in the division. Y'all can't even beat people in the division. Like, y'all want to claim to be the best team in that division. You can't even beat the other people in the division.
And for people that don't know the division records right now for the NFC East, I went ahead and put that down. Eagles 3-6-1, Giants 3-7, Cowboys 3-7, and the Washington football team 3-7. So that means after 11 weeks of football, these four teams have a grand total of 12 wins on the season.
12 wins combined, all four of y'all. 12.
All three of them plus one.
Yeah.
This used to be one of the greatest divisions in football history with all four of these, especially when we were in high school. I mean, the matchups was insane in NFC East. And now it's just like nobody. I mean, they literally look like the AFC East right now. AFC South at the moment.
Worse than that. I mean, they don't even. I don't even really like to talk about them. Really, in this game, all I want to talk about is how Browns. I semi-respect y'all now. I'm not gonna call y'all imposters anymore.
I am still.
You okay at 7-3? You are okay. You had a pretty easy schedule, I think, but you're okay at 7-3. That two-headed monster y'all got in that backfield, that's the only reason why y'all are where y'all are at right now. Baker Mayfield, I still think you're going to choke it all away. So that's the only reason why I'm like, I don't know about y'all, because Baker Mayfield is still the quarterback of this team. If he can manage it, though, they can make some noise. Like I always say with the Oilers, let me just be fair. I always say with the Oilers, they are a team you want to be scared of because of the way they run the ball. Mm-hmm. The Browns are going to end up being a team that people are going to be scared of because of the way they run the ball. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, my goodness, man, they are killing it back there. And so every team that it has the Browns moving forward, you're going to have to figure that out. If you can stop them, I think you're going to win the game, because I don't trust Baker Mayfield, especially with Odell out. I don't trust him to make the plays like that. But if you can't stop the run,
good luck.
Good luck.
It's gonna be a long night for you,
man.
I agree. All right, Lions versus Panthers. Very disappointed in this game. Because
you picked the Lions, didn't you?
Well, the main reason why is not that I don't have faith in PJ Walker. I was right here in Houston and watched PJ Walker play for the Houston Roughnecks. It's not that at all. I love PJ Walker. Mm-hmm. I still don't know how to make out this Panthers team. I don't. Sometimes some weeks they're good. Some weeks they fall off. Same thing exactly with the Lions. Like that's the reason why I picked the Lions, because if you coming into this game, I am Matt Stafford. I'm coming to this game thinking that Teddy Bridgewater is not playing. They are this Panthers team is not really that good on both sides of the ball, and you don't score a point.
Put up that donut. They put up that donut.
Matt Stafford is a guy that people, I'm talking about fans, will talk about all the time and say, Matt Stafford is this, Matt Stafford is that, Matt Stafford hasn't done nothing in his NFL career to prove to me that Matt Stafford has deserved $100 million as a quarterback. You had probably one of the better wide receivers in NFL history and still ain't do nothing. I don't blame something. And a couple years ago, I don't blame Matt Stafford for the whole Jim Caldwell situation. That's the Lions organization on them. But most likely, Matt Patricia will be fired this year.
Oh, okay,
and then
after that game,
we know why. But anyways, and then most likely at the end of the year, if you're going to have to start over with a new head coach, Matt Stafford, you are in year 12, like year 11, like it's. Matt, if I'm the Lions, you gotta something has to give. If I'm Matt Stafford, please get me out of here.
Yeah,
the Lions as an organization are not gonna let him go because he is the marquee player to bring fans into the stands. So I understand business wise why the Lions are not gonna do it, but it's just so disappointing having to watch this organization.
I mean, I don't even really want to get on the Lions because they're horrible. We knew they were horrible, but before Matt Stafford somehow finds a way to help them win the games here and there. But I did not choose them because of how inconsistent they are. And because I do think that I would say the Panthers are probably one of the better teams that are down here at the bottom of the league because they have played well in a lot of games, and they've just been unlucky. Not to mention they didn't have Christian McCaffrey for most of those games they've lost. So it's like they're a good team. I think they're a really good team. I think that they've just been unfortunate this season. And I think they're learning how to win with this new coach. But P.J. Walker, can I just say this? I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan. I like Teddy Bridgewater. I think Teddy Bridgewater is great. I'm happy he got this opportunity. But after watching that game, even with the 2 interceptions, when Teddy Bridgewater come back, I want P.J. Walker to start. I'm just gonna say it right now. I know he threw 2 picks in the red zone, like in the end zone as they were going in. Mm-hmm. So it's like that kind of hurts you a little bit. But if you watch that game, the way he was slinging that rock around and the arm strength he was displaying, I mean, if you're a Panthers fan, you really got to look at that game and be like, if we get this guy more reps, could he potentially show us what he showed in the XFL? I think so. I think that he has been around long enough and he's learned from, like they said, Andrew Luck and stuff. He's learned from some of those guys enough that I think he could potentially do it. Teddy Bridgewater, just for me, doesn't take the kind of shots that P.J. Walker took in this game. And that's the only reason why I say I think P.J. Walker might need to take it.
You think Teddy is more of a throwback quarterback when it comes to making sound completions, making sound throws, and not messing the game up? P.J. Walker is more of a, I want to say gunslinger, but he'll take more chances. He'll take more risks. And if it throws an interception, hey, it is what it is. We can go on our next drive, and I'll throw that same pass again.
And he's gonna sling it again. Like,
I agree.
That's the kind of quarterback he is. I think you kind of need that when you're a team like the Panthers, where it's not like you have one of the better offensive, like you don't have the best offensive weapons, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can rely on a game manager to just say like, oh, go in there and just manage this game and don't lose it for us. I think you kind of need that guy that's going to help,
make 1 or 2 explosive plays that I got you.
I think that's why they lost some of those games with Teddy Bridgewater, because he's so safe. I think with PJ Walker in there, you might win some of those games because he takes that shot that you're like, I mean, if it works, you're like, oh man, that's a big shot. And if it doesn't work, you're like, dang, why he throw that ball? But at the same time, like, you don't know. So
I got you.
That's why I think he should start, but we'll see. I doubt he will. I think Teddy Bridgewater gonna get it. The money they gave him, he's gonna get it, but okay.
Now I'm looking over the Panthers schedule right quick, and I just wanted to see their losses because, like you said, they play really hard, but just like the Chargers on the West Coast, they seem to lose games by one score. And again, looking at this Panthers schedule, the only 2 blowout losses that they have are to Tampa Bay, and they're by 14 points or more. Other than that, they lost to the Raiders by 4, lost to the Bears by 7, lost to the Saints by 3, lost to the Chiefs by 2, lost to the Falcons by 8. So, it's not like they're getting their butts killed. They're in the game, just can't fit, like we talked about with teams, learning how to win.
Yep.
Learning how to win. This is what this team doing. Next week they have the Vikings, bye week 13, 14, the Broncos, 15, the Packers, 16, the Washington football team, and they ended with the Saints. Let's get into these comments right quick. Greg, checking out on YouTube. Thank you very much. Should the Lions get a quarterback in the draft or in free agency next year? Good question.
I mean, I don't think you're going to get a draft. I don't think you're going to be at a spot in a draft where you're going to be able to get a quarterback that you would say, if we draft this guy, he's the heir apparent to Matt Stafford, because it'll be an awkward spot in the first round. So you're probably going to have to get one in the later rounds. And it depends on this quarterback class. I haven't done too much research into it, but I don't know that you got a guy in there that you really feels the heir apparent. Free agency, you're not going to get one in free agency because you got Matt Stafford, right? So the only thing is, if they're willing to trade Matt Stafford and potentially go pick up like a veteran in free agency to be the gap, I think you do that, but I don't think they're going to, because again, they have to find a guy in the draft that they like enough to say, this is our heir apparent. Maybe we trade Matt Stafford, get some more picks, and then we bring in a veteran to kind of teach this guy as we get, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick in Miami. Maybe you get Ryan Fitzpatrick from Miami and then hope that he come up to Detroit and tutor your guy until he's ready to go. But I just don't see them being in a spot to make that decision.
I 100% agree. The top 3 quarterbacks right now going into the next draft is, of course, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and the quarterback from North Dakota State. I want to say Trey Lyle. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but supposed to be one of the better quarterbacks. Haven't thrown a pick in his college career. I'm still skeptical on him because, and again, I'm not using Carson Wentz as an example. I'm just saying, when you play in that type of level of football, unfortunately, you don't play, the level of competition on a week in and week out basis compared to guys that are playing in the SEC. So some of those guys in the SEC are already NFL ready coming to the NFL, and some guys coming from conferences like that have to get better year in and year out, and by year 3, they're finally where they need to be. So I will say this: what about somebody like PJ Walker? Maybe coming in and filling a role back up to Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford might get hurt next year. You can fill in for him and win a couple of games. The Detroit faithful might love you and want to move on. Who knows?
The Panthers aren't going to let PJ Walker go.
We don't know that.
The head coach.
We don't know that.
The head coach there is the coach that coached him in
college. You're correct.
I think that he really likes PJ Walker. I think there's going to be some discussion about whether or not PJ Walker, if Teddy Bridgewater can't play next week and PJ Walker comes out and he does this again, I think there will be some discussions in Carolina whether or not he should take.
And there will also be some discussions on here on the Sports Plug that happen as well. I cannot wait to talk about that. Good. I like that dish. I like that. All right, Jets and Chargers. Of course, another L for the Jets. Nobody was really expecting the Jets to do anything in this game. Are there any lowlights or highlights you want to speak upon on this game? Because I ain't got none.
Justin Herbert had a wonderful game. I mean, amazing game. Although it was against the Jets, it was a great game. Also a big win for Anthony Lynn. You've been talking all year about, what will his record be? And if his record is too low, will they get rid of him? This is a big win for that, to help him stay, in a respectable range. So
good old 3 wins.
Hey, if they had lost to the Jets, I would have started.
I'm just saying, yeah. Now, again, I'm not saying I love Anthony Lynn. I think he's a great coach. I don't want him to get fired. But I'm just saying I see the writings on the wall. That's what I'm worried about with the Chargers organization.
Yeah.
I hope they give him another year to be able to ride the ship. Now, next year, if you go whatever, it's on you. But when we see guys like an Adam Gase, a Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, certain guys that are allowed certain leashes to lose, And it's just like, okay, well, if you look at the pieces around you, again, like the Detroit Lions, you have some people think Matt Stafford is a future Hall of Famer. I don't, but some people think so. You have another future Hall of Famer running back, Adrian Peterson. I'm not saying he's 28 now, but I'm just saying you have veteran guys on that offensive side. Defensive side of the ball, you have some pretty decent guys as well, too. And you had some guys last year, like Darius Slay, that felt some type of way, apparently, with your coaching that wanted to leave. So there are some things going on in that Detroit locker room organization that we might not know about, but I just feel like it's very disrespectful to me that we put up certain people's resumes and we could do a blind taste test. You drink a Coke or you drink a Pepsi and you say you like whatever, right? We put these resumes up of coaches and people say, "Oh yeah, that coach is better than that coach." Well, that might be true, but why is that coach not fired, or why is that coach not a coordinator anymore? Why is that coach not this, that, and the third? It just makes you scratch your head. I'll give you another great example. Moving on to the next topic. Mike Tomlin, 14 years in the NFL, 0 losing seasons, won a Super Bowl, but for some reason, people still have question marks about him. I don't get it. I don't get it, Ish, but hey, it is what it is. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Dolphins versus the Broncos. I don't know why you're smiling so hard, but this is one of those games that I'm very disappointed in the Miami Dolphins, because this was the chance, and I know why you're smiling, because I said what I said, and I'm going to keep it, double down on it. The Miami Dolphins are winning the AFC East. I'm going to say it again on the Sports Plug. But I am disappointed and hurt that they lost to the Broncos, because this was your opportunity to tie with the Buffalo Bills, first place in the AFC East. We're gonna go ahead and bring that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know why you're doing that. I know why you're doing that. Anyways, this was your opportunity to tie with the Buffalo Bills, and then we were able to see that Week 17 matchup with the Bills and the Dolphins for the division. But now you put yourself a game behind with 6 weeks left to go. I'm worried because Tua got hurt. They said that's why they pulled him out, not because of performance. That's what Brian Flores said. I'm just repeating what Brian Flores said. He is expected to be the starter next week. So with that being said, are the Broncos ready to make the second half? The Dolphins. Are the Dolphins ready to make the second half push to try to get them a play? Not a playoff spot, but to win the division?
Jury's still out on that. I'm not gonna say yay or nay, but I will say that I did say this last week when you were bigging up Tua and the Dolphins. You were saying like, "Oh, they're gonna win, they're gonna beat the Bills, so on and so forth." And I was like, I want to see, now that the pressure has kind of shifted on them and they are no longer these underdogs, and people are starting to talk about them, making some noise and winning some of these games. I want to see how they play moving forward. And sure enough, they come out the next week, and what do? They lose to a team that, if you are the team that people are starting to claim you are, you should win this game. There's no reason why you should lose to the Broncos, and it lost. So to me, it only helps to emphasize what my fear is for this team. I think this team plays really well when they're the underdog. I think this team plays really well when they feel like their back is against the wall and it's them versus the world. I don't think they play well as a favorite, because I think that's not their identity. I think their identity has been, nobody counting, like everybody's counting us out. Let's go prove the world wrong. And as soon as you become that team that people are expecting to win these games now, you folded against the Broncos, which that's not even a really good team. They're okay, but they're not really good. So, and then Tua being pulled as well doesn't look good. We'll wait and see. I'm not going to say that they are not going to make the playoffs or possibly, challenge the Bills. I still think that they might. But this is just helping to make me lean more towards saying they need to wait till next year. They need another year.
No, I definitely understand. And again, like my Titans, watching the Dolphins play is kind of the same way like last year when it comes to, man, you can pull off a win that you're not supposed to get. Then all of a sudden you play a team that you're supposed to beat, and you have one of those games, and now everybody looking at you like, oh, there you go, same old Titans or the same old Dolphins. Like, that is what I'm ready for the Dolphins to do as and make that next move. Now, the next 2 games, they have an opportunity to get back on track. They play the Jets next week. They play the Bengals the week after that. Week 14, you play the Chiefs. That's a big game. Week after that, you play the Patriots. Week after that, you play the Raiders. To end the season, you play the Bills. So, if Dolphin fans and Dolphin faithful, if you guys want us to take y'all seriously, last 4 weeks of the season in December, that's when it's going to come down. Especially being a warm weather team, we talked about this before. It's going to be real interesting to see these guys having to go play in the cold and see these guys having to pretty much put themselves in position to win the division.
They got to win the next 2 weeks. Hands down, they must.
You got to. You got to.
They got to.
You got to. All right, Cowboys versus Vikings. Looks like the Cowboys want to show up just a little bit on Sunday and pull off a much-needed win to actually stay in the divisional race in the AFC East. I'm sorry, the NFC East. Horrible. Anyways, I'll ask you this game, who does it show more about? The Cowboys or the Vikings?
As much as I hate to say it, it shows more for the Cowboys than does the Vikings. The Vikings offense didn't play poorly. They played okay. Kirk Cousins did all right. He just didn't find a way to win it. The defense really kind of let the offense down because the offense, for a while, they were going back and forth. The Cowboys and the Vikings went back and forth for a little while. So it just says more for the Cowboys that if they're able to somehow hang in these games and find ways to win them, being the division being as bad as it is, you think they might actually be able to beat some of these teams in their division to maybe win the division. I mean, because you can't really look at the Eagles and say the Eagles are going to beat the Cowboys. You can't really look at the Giants and say the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys. You can't look at the Washington football team and say that either. So being as close as this division is, because all the teams are as bad as they are, the Cowboys proven that they could hang with the Vikings and potentially win that game. You just have to look at them a little bit different moving forward, because if they play some of these teams that they should be close and they find ways to win, they could win the NFC East.
Yeah, so, and they can, and that would. You know what's crazy about that? Does that show? It talked about this on First Take, I think on Monday. Does it show Mike McCartney's coaching?
No
expertise to bring them together and ride the second half and come back and win 6 games and win the division? Does this show how good of a coach Mike McCartney is?
No, I think he should still go. I still think he should go. I mean, because I expected more from, even with Dak Prescott getting hurt, you expected more from the Cowboys.
I agree. And also, 2 things before we go on to the next topic. First, shout out to our friend Otis, who said Andy Dalton wasn't going to do anything with the Cowboys.
203, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Hey, that's a win. That looked like a win to me. Mm-hmm. And second question, who had the better catch? Adam Thielen's one-handed catch in the back of the end zone, or CeeDee Lamb two-handed diving catch with the adjustment?
I think CeeDee. I like the CeeDee catch because I think that's a real tough adjustment there.
Now, speaking both receivers that have played wide receiver, we've seen Adam Thielen's catch made 100 million times in practice in the game, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why that catch was so remarkable, because that I'm by. I don't know, but I'm just like, I've seen that catch made. I can make that catch in my sleep with my hands on my balls. Like, it's not even anything hard that he did, but that CeeDee Lamb catch, the way that he was able to adjust, and then when he adjusted, if you look at it again, he actually used his right foot to push and extend himself to be able to make that catch. I think that was a very underrated catch that he made.
I agree. That adjustment is not easy for people who are from the outside looking in. If you never played the position, you think that making that adjustment and catching that ball should be easy. Mm-hmm. It is not. It is hard to track the ball like that. It's hard to get your body in a position to make that catch. Mm-hmm. That's why I think, for me, that's just harder because of everything that goes along with that catch. It's not just the fact he caught the ball. It's everything he did in preparation to get there and make that play.
I agree. All right, let's go ahead and get on to the next topic. Packers versus Colts. this was a little shocker here. A little shocker depending on who you are, fandom wise. If you was a Colts fan, you was probably expecting this. You was expecting to beat the Packers. If you was a Packers fan, you was like, what the hell's going on? We wanted to beat the Colts. We expected to beat the Colts. But I think this was a game that showed a little moxie for the Colts. For them to come in and win this game and whatnot at home, take care of business, and then you have next week another divisional foe to play against at home again. Again, with the Colts, hey man, if you could beat the Titans, beat the Packers, and beat the Titans again, I'm gonna have to put my hands up and say, hey, they are the favorite in the AFC South to move forward.
I 100% agree. This game put not only the league but put me on notice as well. Because if the Colts are able to beat the Titans, I will at that point put my hands up, say yes. Phillip Rivers, I'm sorry. You got it. You're gonna win the AFC South because I do think that they've been kind of sneaking along, and I do think that this game against the Packers, I think last week's Thursday night game kind of put the league on notice, but this week against the Packers definitely put the league on notice. Like Phillip Rivers and the Colts, they may have something here, and if they are able to come back this week and beat the Titans, oh for sure, I'm putting my hands up. Yeah, they won. They won the AFC South. The Oilers, I don't know, man. Y'all gonna make me a little bit scared at that point. But yeah, this was a really good game. Can't believe it went to overtime, and the Packers didn't find a way to win it. But whatever, it is what it is. It's just another game, I think, for the Packers. But for the Colts, this was a big one.
Yeah, the Packers got the NFC North division wrapped up for the most part. They pretty much just vying for NFC seeding. I think they'll go back, rewatch the tape, but I don't think they really hold too much weight on this game, especially with them not even being in the same conference.
Yeah.
It is what it is. They'll move on. But for the Colts, I really do think this is one of those games where you have to put in your front pocket, be like, look what we did. We was able to put everything together, offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, and special teams, and win a big game. All right, Sunday Night Football, Chiefs versus Raiders, another good game. And like I talked about before, with the Raiders beating the Chiefs, which I actually called Week 7 earlier in the year, because I just felt like matchup-wise, the Raiders were going to, do what they needed to do against the Chiefs that first game. This game, because of who Patrick Mahomes is, I knew that he was not going to allow the Chiefs to get swept by the Raiders. But I will say this. The Raiders have definitely woken me up, because I'll say this. If Derek Carr is able to play like he played, not just last night, but also in Week 7, the same way, for some reason they play that way against the Chiefs. Now, maybe because they just hate them or division rivals or want to show everybody in the NFL that they can play with them. I don't know. But if we need y'all to do this every other week. If you do this every other week, I think everybody in the NFL will take y'all so much more seriously. And I will say this. This year, with John Gruden doing what he do with the Raiders, it has definitely made me sit back and say, you know what? John Gruden was the perfect hire for the Raiders. He embodies everything what the Raiders and Raiders Nation is and all that stuff. And if I am somebody that is an AFC team fan, you might have to be scared and worried about the Raiders in the next 2 or 3 years.
Potentially, yeah. First off, I'll say hats off to the Raiders. They did play this game really well. Like you said, for some reason against the Chiefs, they just hate us enough that they want to come out and play really well against us. If they would take that and bottle it up and find a way to use that against other teams, maybe that we'll be talking about them being a contender. But as far as I'm concerned, they don't do this consistently against other teams. That's why I'm still like, yeah, maybe. Potentially, but we'll have to wait and see. Once again, Patrick Mahomes and that offense, and Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, the geniuses that they are, they came out with new wrinkles against the Raiders. We saw some really nice trick plays.
Travis Kelce Wildcat with the Patrick Mahomes scoop. I like that.
They are getting into playoff form now. Yep. I think that offense is really starting to turn it around and get in playoff form. Tyreek Hill had a big game. I mean, so many catches going.
Hold up. Forgot about one more person. We finally got a Le'Veon Bell sighting.
Yeah.
We finally got a Le'Veon Bell sighting. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
He got the most touches he's had since he's been with the Chiefs. He did score a touchdown. So I mean, it was a big game all around on that offensive side. The defense, they didn't perform as well as I'd like to see them perform. But like you said, Derek Carr was throwing the ball around and doing some things. So we'll have to wait and see. This game really didn't do anything for me as far as like playoff outlook, and like saying like, oh yeah, the Raiders going to really contend or anything like that. But it was a good game. I like that we had a good game on Sunday night game. NFL,
I agree. I agree.
Games and less of the other ones.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And we are getting into the I think not next week, but the week after that, we are getting into flex mode. Yep. I've already heard that apparently the Browns and Titans game in 2 weeks might get flexed on Sunday Night Football. So, again, we are getting the flex mode for Sunday Night Football games. We might start seeing a lot better games going towards the end of the season. So we have to worry about no clunkers like the Patriots and Jets or the Cowboys and the Eagles. Nobody want to see that crap. So, hey, I will also say this as well, just to cap off with Derek Carr. Just watching him make some of the throws that he made on Sunday night. I was like, who the hell is this? Man. This ain't the Derek Carr I'm used to watching. Like this, I literally had to text all my Raider friends like, look, man, this is probably the best quarterback performance I've ever seen for Derek Carr in a long ass time.
Oh yeah, I mean, he went back to there were
Fresno State probably. He probably went back to Fresno State.
Nah, not that far. There were a couple of years ago where he was actually doing his thing with the Raiders, and people were starting to talk about him. And I think he went back to that form last night, and it looks like he's done that the 2 times they played the Chiefs this year. Again, if he can find that, bottle it up, and do it against the rest of the league, I'll really be like,
he's a top 5 quarterback.
Oh man,
if he can do that, he's a top 5 quarterback. Period.
Oh man, yeah, it'll be scary if he can do that the rest of the time. Together with Brandon Jacobs in the backfield, man, this could be a scary team moving forward.
I agree. You mean Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs.
You good. I was thinking too, like Brandon Jacobs playing. No,
Brandon Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. You good? All right. Finish it off with Monday Night Football: Rams versus Buccaneers. This was a hell of a game. Appreciate you guys, Jared Goff and Tom Brady, for putting on a nice little performance. More from Jared Goff than Tom Brady. But with that being said, this was a very, 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 very big win for the Rams. They needed this win more than the Buccaneers to stay apace in the NFC West because of just how congested that division is, and I'll bring that up right quick. And with the Buccaneers, it is a tough loss. I understand that, but you already got past the Saints. You already played twice against the Saints already. For the Buccaneers, for me, what it looks like, the same way you talked about with the Chiefs, I feel like they're trying to get into playoff mode. They're trying to incorporate Antonio Brown a little bit more. They're trying to get all these pieces going into the playoffs so they can be ready. Again, with all that veteran leadership, let's be real, they're not worried about the regular season.
Oh, no, not at all. I think that the next week is a big game. They play the Chiefs coming up on Sunday. I think that's a big game for them, just to kind of really say, like, are we in playoff form? Are we ready to compete against some of these top teams? Because if you look at the rest of their schedule, they got a bye week after that. They got the Vikings, which is like, we just saw what the Vikings have done. They lost to the Cowboys. Then they got the Falcons, the Lions, the Falcons.
So, like they should take care of business.
They should take care of business. I think the Chiefs it's like their last game that you were really like, man, this is a top team. What are y'all going to do, Tom Brady? Once you get past that, y'all expected to win those games. So let's just move past it. So for the Bucs, I think that this was a big game, but not in the sense of if you lose it, you take much from it. So whatever. The Rams, this was big, like you said. Keeps them first in the NFC West, or moves them to first in the NFC West. You needed this because I think all 3 teams from the NFC West will make the playoffs, but you don't want to be that third team. I just don't think you want to be that third team.
And I'm looking at the Rams schedule at the moment. Week 12, you have the 49ers, 13. You have the Cardinals, 14. Patriots, 15. Jets, 16. Seahawks, 17. The Cardinals to finish off the season. And that could be for the division as well.
Yep.
Again, depending on how everything pans out, you have 2 teams right now at the moment, NFC West with 7-3. The Cardinals are 6-4. So it's going to be real interesting. All of these teams, divisions. It really could go down to the last week. And to wrap up I'm sorry, to wrap up week 11, we're going to go right into week 12 right quick to talk about some of these Turkey Bowl matchups. We're just going to talk about these 3 games that are happening on Thursday. And then, of course, we'll be back again next Tuesday to talk about the rest of week 12. So with that being said, we're going to start off with the Texans and the Lions. We're not gonna give picks yet. We're gonna save that for our Facebook page on Thursday when we actually make our picks. But let's preview this game just a little bit. First things first for me, the Lions and the Cowboys, NFL. Please stop putting these bums on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Please.
I know it's a tradition thing.
I know it is, but I'm tired of it.
I think it's time to move past that. It's time to get past them.
Like Jesus Christ.
I am tired of watching them as well every Thanksgiving. They're just not good for the NFL anymore. As far as Thanksgiving games to watch, nah.
Like I don't want to look at the ugly ass Detroit Lions uniforms. They love wearing these throwback uniforms. It's trash. The Lions are trash. The Cowgirls. The only good thing about the Cowgirls, honestly, are their throwback uniforms. I do like looking at those navy blue, with the white with the star on the shoulder pad. I don't mind those uniforms. But at least the last time the Cowboys made it exciting was when Romo was playing and was losing the damn Turkey Bowl matchups. But it seemed like from the last time the Cowboys were even a staple on Thanksgiving was when John Madden was talking about turduckins and whatnot.
I'm just happy we don't have the Bears playing like the Lions or something on Thanksgiving.
Oh, Lord,
that would have just been horrible.
Yeah, but at least we can watch a little bit of the Michael Jordan football playing on Turkey Day. So Washington football team versus the Cowboys, and let's be real, this is pretty much Cowboys versus Indians because that's pretty much what NFL made this out to be. Yep. If you on Thanksgiving, hey, shout out to that. Pretty much. So I think this game could be a tie. I'm gonna say it right now. This game could probably lead into a tie. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I didn't want to predict this game, but I'm gonna predict as in saying it's probably gonna end in a tie, and it's gonna make so many more people mad. And I would want to see the chaos. Honestly, more than I would want to see the chaos.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna pick for the page.
No problem. And we'll end with the last game for Turkey Bowl, the Ravens versus the Steelers, and
it's a must-win for the Ravens.
It is. But if you haven't heard, J.K. Dobbin and Mark Ingram has come down with COVID-19 and are not available for this game. So with a running football team like the Ravens, and you only have one running back on your roster, who I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, you take out both of your running backs, and now you only have Lamar Jackson to pretty much do everything. It's going to be a long night for Lamar Jackson on Thursday.
And couple that with it being a must-win game.
Yeah,
man, I want to see what's going to happen here because, you got Dez Bryant getting his first catch in years.
3 years.
This past week. So, are they able to get the receivers more into it? Are they going to rely on the tight ends? We don't have to wait and see. But this is a big game to watch because if the Ravens lose this game, they could potentially not make the playoffs.
This is very true. The AFC is very tough this year, and the Ravens could be on the outside looking in. And speaking of playoffs, we're going to go straight into the AFC playoff standings at the moment. Number 1, the Steelers. Number 2, the Chiefs. 3, the Bills. 4, the Colts. 5, the Titans. 6, the Browns. And 7, the Raiders.
This is looking crazy because just on the outside looking in, you got the Dolphins and you got the Ravens. Like I said just a couple of minutes ago, the Ravens need to win that game to stay in this race. The Dolphins, are they going to be able to push the Bills for number 3? That's going to be interesting to watch. And if the Raiders stay consistent, you could be looking at this is what the playoffs look like.
It could. Well, we heard last week where Brett thought the playoffs. if it was the standings were last week, but
yeah.
Anyways, love you, Brett. Love you. I hope you're checking out the show. All right, NFC playoff standings. Number 1, the Saints. Number 2, the Rams. Number 3, the Packers. Number 4, the Eagles. 5, the Seahawks. 6, the Buccaneers. And 7, the Cardinals. And as Ish said, they have those 3 teams at the moment that are in the NFC West that are in the playoffs.
Yeah. Most definitely. I think one of the things to be on the lookout, you got the Bears lurking there, even though they're imposters. You got the Bears lurking there at 5-5. Like we were just saying for the Bucks, if the Bucks lose this game against the Chiefs, Brett, it could get a little scary. Tom Brady keep throwing these picks and everything. You expect them to win the rest of the games after the Chiefs, but they got the Vikings to play, who are playing to get into the playoffs as well at 4-6. That may not just be a walk in the park. The Bucks are sitting at a real hard spot right now.
Because at the moment, if they were to play Aaron Rodgers and the number 3 seed, the Packers, that's a nice little first round matchup.
That's a very nice first round matchup. And then you still got the Cardinals and the Rams playing each other twice before the season is over. So definitely expect the NFC whole playoff picture to change. But it's looking good right now. I'm liking some of the matchups I'm seeing, and I'm hoping that the Buccaneers do what they're supposed to do and make these playoffs. I don't want the Bears to find a way to get in there.
Yeah, we can't have Nick Foles and Trubisky as the headliner for the quarterback. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. All righty then. And, of course, Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we just want to give a quick shout-out and happy Thanksgiving to everybody that is checking out the show. And we just want to thank you guys for checking out these episodes from the beginning to where we are now, week 12. We'll see you guys next week. I'm sorry, is it week 11? My bad. I keep messing up. Week 11. My bad. My bad. We want to thank everybody for checking out again to week 11. We'll see you guys next week for week 12 recap.
Yes, we will.
Of course, this is the Sports Plug with Xavier Williams and Ishmael. See you guys next week.
See you.